We're going to dispense with the pledge. We just did that here for our other meeting, but I'd like to call this special public meeting to order. I'd like to announce that today's meeting was duly advertised. Is there citizen input on agenda items? Seeing none, we move on to item number 5. We require a motion to approve and advertise for a revised cleanup plan for the prison project.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. And we can have some discussion. Ray, you and I talked about, I don't know if you necessarily need approval to advertise. It was more approval to...
No, but we're going to have to revise the plan based on changes that they made for the prison construction. With that, when the plan is complete, the revised plan is complete, as part of the submittal, I'm charged with submitting a notice in the local newspaper and to the county that the revised plan has been submitted. If the county would like to submit their own notice in the paper, they can do that and we can help, but it's not a requirement. Those requirements fall under the the consultant who's revising the report. So we'll revise that and submit it and do the required public notifications.
Okay. And just for people's understanding of this, this is prompted by we have to go a different direction than we thought that they were going to be able to go in terms of the actual the grounds, and the fill underneath where the prison pad is going to be. Originally, they came back and said that the soils wouldn't compact to the level you need them to be able to build on it. Just use a pad. So the thought was that the cheapest alternative was to use pylons, which basically would be drilled down to the bedrock, and they would be sort of into the bedrock to give it stability, and you're almost building this on the top of a platform at that point. When the engineer took a closer look at that, it came back it was significantly more expensive than what they anticipated, given the number of pylons that were going to be required and some of the other factors that came into play. They said that sometimes you have I don't know if they call it a socket or something into the bedrock can blow out and things like that in order to have the stability you need. So what's going to be required is that they're going to have to excavate out approximately 10 feet, I guess, of soil and put another fill in there to do that. And that because of the fact that they're going to do that kind of an excavation, we had to revise this plan.
And your job, just to let people know so that they understand, you submit this plan, and when it's called an environmental cleanup plan, it doesn't mean that we found anything new or toxic. It just has more to do with runoff or where the earth is going. So if you could explain to people.
The plan really doesn't. The plan is how we're going is written to let the community and the DEP and the county know how the site's going to be cleaned up. It doesn't relate to any new testing or any new data. It's strictly for here's how we're going to clean it up, and and it lays out the plans for that.
And also the plan is when we're digging down this 10 feet, the soil won't be removed from the site. The soil will be kept on site, and the main reason is because the soil that's there now won't compact enough to put a sound foundation over it, and so they're going to bring in soil that will be construction grade soil that will compact. So nothing is actually leaving the site. It's just going to be moved into different places.
And I just want to say the soil that's being moved, the plan is still for engineering controls on the prison site so that there'll be no exposure when that site is developed. So we're still going with the no exposure and remedial avenue.
Any other questions from the audience?
Does this delay the project at all?
No, it won't, and actually won't cost any additional funds. We already have a proposal out that money will come from, and it's just a couple simple revisions. No, there'll be a cost, but they're already included in the proposal that the county's approved.
And Mark, it's much cheaper than going with pylons and just as sound and safe as it would have been. It's just they came up with a proposal that will save us,
And you're leaving the prison where it was originally.
Yes.
Where it was originally set to
Correct.
be on that space.
Right, same spot.
Okay.
questions? Okay, if not, call for a vote, all in favor, or is there a motion to approve? And I guess you don't need approval to advertise, you just need an approval. Okay, I did call for it.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we took, okay, we did get the
We
the
got-
second.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
before.
sorry, yeah, it
That's
was a
okay.
long discussion, I forgot. All right, all in favor, state aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Right, is there any other old business to be
Well-
brought?
I asked our project manager, Mr. Todd Rothmal, to be here today so that he could just give a general public update of what is going on with the prison in general terms. And if you could please speak to that, Mr. Rothmal, just so that people are aware status of the project.
Well, currently where we are is there's 3 stages of design development documents that are prepared as we go through this process. Schematic design, design development, and then construction documents. Currently, we're at the design development stage. 50% drawings have been prepared. We're in the process right now of finalizing the floor plans, the cell counts, and the equipment types and specifics with respect to heating equipment, electrical gear, those types of items. It's anticipated right now that the foundation package will be let for bid on or about February 15th. And then the construction design documents will be completed March 31st. And then there will be 6 bid packages attached to those CDs. They will be general contractor, masonry contractor, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and a prison equipment contractor. So there'll be 6 contracts in addition to the foundations. There'll be 7 more bid packages to be let for bid. And anticipating that those dates are met by the design professionals, all contracts should be let by the middle of April or thereabouts, give or take, whatever addendums or extra time we need to have the bidders propose their proposals. So over the next several weeks, we will be completing documents. We'll be meeting with representative parties to review those documents that we're preparing, Warden and his staff, to make sure that we are meeting his needs. We've also revised the site plans to accommodate for this extra 30,000 cubic yards of earth. Larson Design Group has already come up with a plan. We're also talking with PennDOT for the highway occupancy permit that we'll need. Larson Design Group's also met with the county to go over the stormwater management, the sanitary sewer tie-ins. So all those things, what we consider to be standard professional design to get this project to the point where we can have it completely designed is ongoing. And right now we're approximately between now and this March 31st, a couple weeks away from being ready to go.
Oh, how is the demolition project? Did that begin yet, the work?
The demolition project is actually scheduled right now to begin next Tuesday. We're scheduling a meeting with them the morning of next Tuesday, 19th, I'm not exactly sure what the date is, for a pre-construction meeting, and then they will have approximately 40 days to complete the demolition. And then the next step is waiting for DEP to advertise their 30-day wait period for the NPDES permit, and as soon as that permit is issued, then we can begin the site work. So that's currently where we stand today, Friday, 15th of May.
Are there any, that timetable seems soon, are there any weather considerations? Is that weather dependent, or it doesn't matter? You can start this type of work even in snow and...
The only thing we really can't do is if you are excavating for foundations and you run into a frozen ground condition, that prevents us from, doing some concrete foundation work. But because there's a 10-foot cut, frost level is usually only down about 40 inches. There's no concern at the moment, especially as you're entering the end of February into the beginning of March. You're not typically seeing, types of Arctic cold that you normally would see in January and February. So right now, ideally, you have a perfect time period to start this project.
Okay.
I just would like to say also that, so the public knows that our people are making sure that the people around that site, everything will be done for the utmost safety of those people, as far as removing the soil, bringing soil in. Everything that will be done will be following guidelines to make sure everything is safe for the surrounding community.
To add what Commissioner Chickatano mentioned, there isn't any dirt from this site that will be leaving the site. All of the existing material that is on that site remains. All we're doing is bringing in clean structural fill and topsoil to accommodate the construction process. At the end of the project, all of the material, that entire site, will either be covered in concrete, blacktop, or grass. So if anything, we are improving
Right.
that site from the day that we found it.
Just to clarify too, the acceleration fee on the precast cells was,
There was a $97,000 alternate bid to accelerate the delivery of the precast cell. It's a $3.5 million contract that the board had approved prior to today. In evaluating that cost versus where we were with the DEP NPDES permit, we advised the county that the $97,000 would not be in the best interest of this project to be spent. So as a result, the commissioners elected to forego the accelerated delivery schedule for the precast and thereby have those cells delivered August 1st, 2016. So the value of the contract to Penn Precast was reduced by $97,000, ultimately resulting in pure savings to the cost of the project. Because the site, as a result of this NPDES permit not having it in hand and anticipating that to be received sometime toward the latter part of February, those cells would be sitting up there and we wouldn't be able to put them in place. So it was an easy economic savings decision by the county.
So in other words,
maybe we don't have enough vote to do it. Like, I think there had been some discussion about it. I think that everybody saw that was kind of, because of the.
we're not going to
delays,
realize the
yeah,
benefit of that fee.
premium that we would pay.
At your prior board meeting, you already had voted for a value of X. You're now reducing by $97,000. So if that requires, Commissioner, I don't know.
I mean, do we want to, we can make a motion and just say, just to clarify that, in fact, the board's instructing you to, or has instructed you to not, pay that premium for it. Do you want to have a motion to that effect? Sure.
Commissioner, may I add one thing, please? Mr. Rothermel, you had explained to me in the past about, and maybe the press would be interested in hearing this as well, maybe to support or further support your recommendation about the extra cost that would be involved of the unloading and then having to come back and reload if the facility isn't ready for the cells when they would get here.
Yes, as part of the contract specifications for the precast cell manufacturer and erector, these cells weigh 15,000 pounds apiece. And historically, how these are designed, delivered, and erected is Penn Precast will begin the construction of these cells probably within the next 60 days. They can't pour more than 4 of these a day. So in order to have the entire project ready for delivery, which they're under contract to do, all right, they will ship these out in flatbed trucks. You only get 2 of these per truck. As they arrive on site, the crane will be there to lift them off the truck and set them directly onto the slab on grade in their permanent position. If you have to unload them, set them on the ground, and then come back and pick them up, because you can't set them within the reach of that crane to where they go permanently, there will be a second mobilization by a crane, plus an unload and a pickup charge incurred for every cell that you can't set come June 1st. So not only would you not realize the savings, you would also end up paying probably a changeover unless we were able to negotiate. And I would suspect there would be some added costs that you probably would not be able to get out of paying the pre-cost.
Thank you.
Did you actually make a motion?
No.
Okay. We'll just make a motion to instruct you to basically request the return of the I guess we call it the premium.
The motion would be, if I may, Buchard Horn, a professional architect, would actually prepare. So the motion would be for Buchard Horn, with all due respect, to prepare the deduct change order to the Penn Precast contract to recover the accelerated cost of $97,000.
Right.
Someone making that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a
Second it.
Okay, motion made second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Is there any new business? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We need a motion.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion made second, all in favor?
Aye.